Participate in a conversation with once conservative, now liberal Midwest mastered prepared special education high school teacher and a self-proclaimed devil's advocate, East Coast conservative liberal, baccalaureate prepared registered nurse. These two strangers met, became instant friends, and realized their conversations are candid and epic. So join us weekly, ask us questions, and listen to these profoundly candid friends try to solve the world's problems, one discussion at a time.
Hey, welcome to another awesome episode of The New Theory with Monet and Jared, aka TNT with MJ. I am Jared.
I'm Monet.
And together we are teaching minds
and nurturing souls.
Well, my friend, I enjoy our conversation. I love seeing you every week. So catch me up. How's your week been?
So far, so good. Thoroughly enjoying this Baylor nursing program. Having these 5 days off. It's like, damn, I gotta go to work in 2 days. It's like, no, actually, I don't know. I'm not bragging. It's 32 hours, like hardcore, like bam. So, you know, that Monday does not exist. So essentially I do work at least 3 days a week.
Okay.
And then like pick up like laundry and all this other stuff, and kids are in school. How was your life going this week?
You know what? It's a going. I feel like I've been able to get my head back above water at work and get stuff caught up to where as things come in, I can address those things as they come instead of having things hang over my head, that type of thing. Despite having a couple of deadlines to meet tomorrow and next Friday, but that's totally good. Next week is finals week. My kids are my students are, they're knocking it out. So, it's going to be good. It's going to be good.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, yeah.
Damn. All right. So things are going great for us.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, like always.
Yes, ma'am.
Listen to current affairs, and we're listen to the Supreme Court stand with the people. Thank God.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Say no to the administration trying to
unanimously.
Yes. No, go away, fool. Cut out your shenanigans and let's get on with new administration. Yay! All right, so we're applauding that. But as I sit here and we're dealing with the COVID rise, and now they're talking about, before they would talk about like the cases, like people were getting COVID. Now they're talking about the COVID deaths are on the rise. So that's very, like, what do we gotta do better.
And
with that,
I was going to say, just kind of almost directly correlates with the rise in hospitalizations and hospitals having to what does I say? Almost I'm doing it in justice, but differentiate the care. They have to decide who is more likely going to live.
Yeah, go home if you are okay. Do this, and if you feel worse, come back in. And I think people are starting to get it, though. They're like, okay, I don't want to be in the hospital where people are literally on the death's door, and I kind of just have like the sniffles. Mm-hmm. So, I really think people are growing up. That form of evolution. Like, no, you don't need to be watched while you sneeze. It's okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm serious, because, you'd be surprised. But with that being said, this is just us trying to pray our way through this process and hope that this all comes to an end. Okay, I don't know about.
It's all going to come to an end one way or the other. Mm-hmm. And I don't mean existentially. I'm just saying. This pandemic is going to end.
Mm-hmm. It is
soon. But soon is also relative. I don't know about the
vaccine, though.
I don't know.
You get it first. It's like
you're the nurse.
I know, right? I probably already got it. When I got the flu shot, I probably already got it. I don't know. When I start drooping one eye and limping, I'll let
That's
you
a problem.
know.
Yeah,
right. Yeah. All right. So after we now talk about those current events.
Yeah.
Now,
all right.
I'm listening to this world go around, and I'm like, let's revisit. Mm-hmm. How is Jared as a white man dealing with being awoke. Now, we talked about this before.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We talked about this before, but I think a better, how shall I say this? I want people to understand, from your perspective, do you feel like there's a loss of identity as a white male? And not this perceived sense of superiority, but how do you feel with regards to your race in our current social climate?
Well, that's that's a little bit of a loaded question, but that's okay. I would say that when I see when I see when I see nationalists, when I see white supremacists, when I see just a mob of white folks protesting over the most ignorant of things, and here recently it's been, I'm just going to be honest, it's been the masks, but I've also seen the counter protests with the Black Lives Matter and
still, they're still going on.
Still, it's still going on.
December.
I pity. There's a part of me that's angry at them. Like, dude, apply a little common sense. Apply some of that knowledge that you learned in school. Something. So I feel a little bit angry about that, but then I also pity them because I'm like, you should know. But at the same time, maybe they don't know. I don't know if it's blind ignorance or not. But
Jared, how do you feel?
How do I feel?
Like, do you feel like you lost anything?
Yeah. To answer that question directly, no, absolutely not. If anything, I feel like I've gained a great deal. I feel like I've gained quite a lot of knowledge. Let's say that.
Yeah.
With the podcast and the books and just teaching history. For those that are curious, I would totally check out the Big History Project. Google it, Big History Project. It's pretty awesome. Anyway, especially part 4. Just saying. Yeah, just a great deal of knowledge, a great deal of capacity.
Well, how do you get your knowledge?
Capacity to feel empathy.
Oh, capacity to feel empathy. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
But no, you're fine.
Yes.
To gain the knowledge, I mean, first you got to want it.
Okay. How do you even get to that point to wanting it?
It's a breakdown of ego.
Ooh.
It's a breakdown of ego. You've got to recognize that, and this is what I hear a lot of, because when I have these conversations with other white people, men and women, doesn't matter. I hear a lot of, well, all lives matter, or well, I have black friends, so I can't be racist, or in let's dare I say Amy Coney Barrett's situation, I've adopted black kids, so therefore I cannot be racist. Let's start off with the fact that you had to say that makes you racist.
Yeah. Well, they wouldn't agree with that, Jared. They wouldn't agree with that. They
of course they won't. But that goes back to identity. You have to recognize, because that's a coping mechanism. I see that as a kind of a self-defense thing. A kind of a deflection. Like, no, there's no way. And then if I continue to press it, it starts to become angry, or they might try to flip it around to try to make me angry, and therefore I lose my point of view. It has happened once or twice, but yes. The point being, recognizing that vulnerability, and recognizing that
your vulnerability,
yourself, yes, my vulnerability,
yes.
I had to recognize that. As a white man, I totally took advantage of a system that was set up for me to benefit, and I wasn't aware of it. So my vulnerability came in the fact that all broke down.
So I totally am a white man.
I didn't know. And then when I know it, or when I realized it, I get that there's a diminishing of identity, or a diminishing of ego. I can understand that. But my argument would be, you've got to be able to you got to be I don't want to say so self-aware or anything like that, but you got to be at the point where you recognize that as a strength and not a weakness. And because it's a strength, you want to pursue that. You want to go down that road. You want to grow. You want to,
you want your humanity and your empathy to grow.
And what we've been talking about the past couple of weeks, or past several weeks for that matter, evolution. You want to be able to, you want to evolve, you know.
Yes. I mean, you know what, Jared, one key factor too, it comes with, there's no like, because I think a lot of people get caught up. And when I say a lot of people, a lot of white people are getting caught up with, well, I don't know how to pay for the past. Nobody's asking you to pay for the past.
Absolutely not. But you've got to recognize that you are a product of that past. Yes. And you have a role to play to fix it.
Yeah. Like the Confederate flag. Again, it was a pride thing. It was like, let's find pride. I'm going to tell you something. And I'm going to say it because we've already talked about this before. I was raised on grits. I was raised on Southern food. Okay. Because my direct grandmother and great grandmother came from down South and brought that cuisine, that mindset. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Yes, sir. No, sir.
So they were part of the Great Migration?
Yes, they were definitely part with cousins and everything else up here. Wow, so not only was it within my immediate household, my extended relatives, we all had the same mentality here in Philadelphia. Okay. It was understood. All right. Yeah. Now, with that being said, in elders, children to be seen, not heard. Okay. My point is, with that, okay, that sense of Southern pride, I get it. I get why Southerners want to have pride, but did you understand that the reintroduction of the Confederate flag was a symbol of intimidation? Absolutely. And not a sense of pride? Absolutely. Okay, you can have pride in your twang. Jared, I listen to some Southern music.
Go ahead.
Some country music. I'm serious.
Oh yeah.
Because it's beautiful.
Yeah.
There's a cadence they sing in here, and it comes from in here. It's beautiful.
Especially the 80s, 90s country music, man. I'm just saying.
You just listen to it, your heart just goes, oh, it's so beautiful. Yeah. I don't know too many people that don't like Dolly Parton. I'm just saying. Yeah. And I know she's like been, sensationalized, but that we just talking about Southern, okay?
Sure. No, I got you.
The point is, so I'm now seeing people that once was proudly waving the Confederate flag, like, oh, wait. Yes, you're a part of a process. You're a part of a system that wanted to perpetuate ignorance and fear. Yep. And that flag was only doing that, was only to institute that, not to introduce a positiveness with your Southern identity.
Right.
You don't need that flag to be proud of your Southern heritage.
Absolutely. And let us not forget that the flag that's considered the Confederate flag is actually the freaking battle flag.
From war.
So when I see that, I'm like, okay, good thing you're in your car, because I don't want to go to battle with this. Like you're waving it, you're broadcasting it, you're public, and the fact that that's widely considered the Confederate flag is just funny to me, especially in the South.
No,
no, dude, that's the war flag. You got to understand, that's a battle flag.
Educate.
Yeah. So anyway, be that as it may, I'm just dude. That's all I got to say.
So,
but all that to say, no, I do not absolutely feel diminished. In fact, I feel enlightened. I feel even more emboldened, if you will.
Ooh, big word.
Because I feel like, I'm armed with the truth. Like, I've studied, I've done it, I've looked, I've read, I've listened, I've researched.
Yes.
So you want to go down that road with me? Okay, let's go. Let's travel.
Because I'm ready.
Yeah.
To enlighten you, just like I was.
Absolutely. So anyway, I'm sure that answered your question.
Yes, it did. And I'm hoping, like, just, because we're doing this because we know these conversations, mind you, we had already talked about this. I know y'all get it now. We do. We talk before we get on, just so we can have a cadence to our conversation. Mm-hmm. But this broadcast stems from real bold conversations. Absolutely. And literally, I had asked that question in 3 different ways.
Yes. Yes, you did.
Because these questions are almost difficult to, like, well, how am I mean, I know we're comfortable with each other.
Sure.
But like Jared, like, is it okay if I ask this? Because I just gotta know. And I feel like our objective.
That's funny. I'm going to stop you there because that's funny, because that's exactly how I felt when we first started this.
Yes.
It's funny to me. Anyway.
It's true. So I'm serious. Because
like, is it okay that I ask you about this?
Yes, please. Because how else is anybody else going to know? You know what I'm saying? And I feel like people are at the precipice of change, but they just don't, or they want to dive in, but they don't know how, because they feel like, am I going to lose anything? And they know, in a sense, they're not. Like, I'm gonna be candid by saying this. When I look at the Midwest and I look at Southern states that are all white communities, right? Mm-hmm. And they see these things going on, and they see an occasional minority come through here or there, or they got 1 or 2 blacks that live in their community, or 1 or 2 Hispanics. And they're like, do I just be friends with them? No, you don't have to. But it's just like, just do some research. Like, wait, did Betsy Ross really sew the flag? Like, ask yourself questions about history. Absolutely. And then see what pops up.
Absolutely.
Because ultimately, you're going to be like, oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
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 And when we talk about that, what's about to come up, Jared?
What's up?
Look, you can see it in my face, man. We talked about it a little bit last week. We said we was going to talk about it this week.
Bring it.
I'm so mad. Oh, I got to tell you about this conversation I had. It is about the Cuban government.
Okay.
And what happened when Fidel Castro came into power. Okay. Let me give you a little foundation as to why I was told, okay, and this happened in the 1950s. When Fidel Castro came into power, he was a narcissistic communist that overthrew the government and snatched businesses from rich people and kicked all the rich people out of Cuba, or wanted to persecute them and make them feel belittled.
Okay.
And I was like, that is, look, this is me. This is little me. That is horrible. Because this is me in the 80s.
Yeah, this is what we were told. This is what we're learning. Uh-huh. Yep.
And communism is bad.
Mm-hmm.
Which is come on. We're inundated.
We're going to differentiate communism from socialism completely.
Yeah, we're not going to do that.
No, communism is extreme socialism, but socialism itself does, we'll just
have its place.
There is,
all right. We have it in our country right now. If you don't know, okay.
Yeah. For those that want a proof example, your postal service, your Social Security payments, your stimulus payment that we got over the summer, plus the PPP loans. So that's socialism. Yeah, just saying.
Period.
Yeah. Okay.
The sharing of the wealth.
You donating to charities, that's socialism. Just saying.
Mm-hmm. Just so you know.
Yeah.
Now, with that being said, here I am, okay? Oh, in the 80s, literally a month ago, had a conversation with my girlfriend who, was the election about a month ago? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, it was literally a month ago.
COVID. Anyway.
Yeah, no. July feels like a year ago.
Yeah, right. Needless to say, having a conversation with my girlfriend from Costa Rica, and I was like criticizing the Cubans in Miami, like, why would they want to keep this certain administration in? Why would they want to keep the current administration in? Didn't they run away from communism? She was like, I'm gonna pump your brakes right there. I said, what? She was like, Monet, the whole Fidel Castro, he said, what you don't know, and this is what she did. She said, you need to do some research now. If you would have did it 20 years ago, you probably wouldn't have been able to get it because they didn't have it. But now the internet is vast.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And the whole Cuban Fidel Castro situation was all about colorism. I wish I had graphics to. Wait. What do you mean?
Yeah, I'm not that
colorism?
good in editing.
All the wealthy people. I love you. All the wealthy people in Cuba were a fair complexion.
Wow.
If you were, it was like the brown paper bag test. If you weren't of this persuasion, you could not be, and then you had to be in the service industry. So therefore, you had to be in the fields, picking and planting. You had to be in the factories and stuff, and all of the fairer skinned Cubans. You ready? Were in power.
Wow.
Well, when Fidel overthrew the government, he made it so that colorism was not a factor. And guess who fled Cuba to the United States?
Probably those in power.
Those that were in power.
Perceived to have power.
Those that were of fairer complexion. So when I was like, what is happening in Miami? Like, why are people so upset with the Cubans for voting for Trump? Because they liked the racism, the colorism in the United States.
Wow, yeah. Wow.
They liked it because they were able to continue to perpetuate the complexion ideology. Same thing when they talk about the Mexicans in Texas. The fair skinned Spanish Mexicans like having the colorism advantage. They like to assimilate to American and European white culture because they seem more pure. That's why on telenovelas they got the blonde hair in some cases. I'm like, most Spanish people ain't got no blonde hair. Where'd that come from?
Yeah.
That's colorism. Fair skin, colorism. So I'm like, oh my God. So then when she told me, she said, no, if you wanted to be a doctor in Cuba and you happen that your parents were migrant workers, Fidel made it so that you could go through the process and you could go to school and become a doctor.
I mean,
it was all about the clout and the stature of being a doctor, not necessarily about the economic, because it's like, let's take care of each other. Let's make sure that we don't have any homelessness. You know what I'm saying? Let's make sure everybody's eating. Let's make sure that, some people aren't suffering from class disparities. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Wow.
And I didn't understand it until I researched it and realized, oh my God. So that's why the Cubans identify, and I mean, I can understand. No, some people, it got really political, and I know that singer, that what do they call it? Latina. What is it? She's like Afro-Latina, Cuban songstress that was stuck in the United States, who couldn't see her mother or her sister, and Fidel was like, no, I guess because he felt like she was had colorism, maybe she thought, even though she was of a darker complexion, like, you wanted to be better than us, so no, you can't come back here.
Selena?
No, not Selena. She's Mexican from
my bad. All right,
Texas.
Okay,
but it is something like that. No, you're right. Her name is something like that. I forgot. But she has a very beautiful voice. She sings a lot of Spanish songs. She's Cuban, but she's of darker complexion. She's like my complexion, brown skin. It's just colorism, and it's this is not a white person's fault. Like, this is not, it's just like when my son kept talking about his hair, being proud to be able to express his ethnicity through, his cultural attributes. Like, he has hair that is able to lock up real easy. That's him saying, I think my cultural identity is being accepted. I mean, I remember frying my hair through almost into my adulthood, up into my late 20s, because I felt like it had to be straight, because this is what society says is more acceptable, to emulate European Caucasian culture.
which is ironic to me because from where I'm sitting, there is no such thing. But anyway, unless you're in England, and then there definitely is
Exactly.
a culture. But over
Yes.
here, no, it's really not,
There's no culture here.
because we've
We
appropriated
do
everybody
have
else's.
culture, except jazz. We made that ourselves,
Oh
and
yeah.
rap.
Oh yeah.
We made that
Yeah.
ourselves, and
Yeah.
country. We
Yep.
made that ourselves, and that's in our American culture. We really got to fall in love with each other for real.
I, I, for me, it's just seeing the big picture. It's just seeing the big damn picture. Like we're all in this together. We all started out. If we go back far enough, we evolved from the same group of people.
Yep,
Um,
that's your story, man.
it's not my story. It's truth. Again, go back and research it. Again, big history project. In fact, there's actually what started that was the history of the universe in 18 minutes. And that's actually a YouTube thing that you can go to YouTube and you can put in the history of the universe in 18 minutes. And it is just
Mind
enlightening.
blowing.
Yeah, enlightening doesn't even begin to describe it, So anyway, that being said, that's where I'm at with it. It I try to see things even from the small telescopic view of my classroom and my house and my neighborhood and all this other stuff. I really do try to reflect on where I'm at and where I stand in the big picture of things, and where we all stand in the big picture of things. And
Yeah.
why in the world can we not just understand that there's only one damn race, and that's the human race?
Speak your
Why
common
can't
sense. Cut it
why
out.
can't yeah, exactly. Why can't we understand that humanity, not even understand, because I realize that there are people that are not going to research this, are going to completely dispute it. But if you were to research it and really dig into it, no pun intended, you would see that we all evolved from the same damn area. I
And with
mean,
that being said, Jared,
so
but what does that require? That requires
critical
evolution.
thinking and,
Critical thinking, evolution. It requires people.
assimilation of new information to what already exists in your head. Your pre-existing schema. You have to now,
Big word.
yeah, you,
Co-star.
well, yeah, I am a teacher. Come on now.
Two of them.
You have to adjust your schema and to be able to assimilate this new information, and
and challenge it.
Yeah,
Challenge
exactly.
it with the information from the past and say, you know
Exactly.
what? I was taught wrong. That's different.
I've had really fun conversations with my students about the concept of Adam and Eve.
Ooh, how? Ooh, and how?
So when we're talking evolution, the majority of them do go that they identify as Christian.
Right. Beautiful.
And so when they're seeing this stuff and learning this stuff, evolution and where we came from and all this other stuff, and how humankind transition from one phase to another. Tried to avoid using the same word again. Their biggest hangup is Adam and Eve. And so I explain to them, or I start off by just telling them, it's like, hey, every culture on the planet has an origin story. Every religion has an origin story of how the universe was created, how the planet was created, how humanity was created. Every culture has that. So is it fair to, and they're like, oh yeah, okay, I understand that. And so, okay. So could it be fair to say that the story of Adam and Eve was just Christianity's culture story or beginning story?
Or Judaism, because it's in our.
That's also true. Yes. Well, that's two religions out of the plethora that exist. But be that as it may, They seem to understand that. Now, does that mean that I'm talking them out of their Christian beliefs? Absolutely not. What I'm really trying to do is make them question and evolve their thinking to where that their beliefs do not especially Christian beliefs, because I'm going to tell you, my Christian beliefs do not hinge on Adam and Eve. They do not hinge on the virgin birth. They do not hinge on John the Baptist. They do not hinge on Peter. They do not hinge on any of that other stuff. They hinge on the crucifixion and resurrection of Jesus Christ. That's it. Be that as so. With that being said,
but that's your take on it.
That is my take.
Yeah.
And I'll be fair to say, it's fair to say that there are quite a bunch of other people that agree with that. So, because without here's the thing: without the resurrection, there is no Christianity. Bottom line. Oh. Without the resurrection, there is no Christianity.
Okay.
Anyway.
You're just putting it out there.
I'm just putting it out there. Agree with me or not, would love the conversation. Just saying. So
I love your insight.
I'm questioning the students to the point that not so much to question their faith, not so much to question their belief, but to maybe help them understand a little bit that there's more to the world. There's more to existence. There's more to your faith than this one story, than this one. I'll just leave it at that one story. In my opinion, I believe that it started with Abraham, but that's just me.
But you know what, Jared? The beauty is this stems from critical thinking. The simplicity of just asking.
Yeah.
And saying, hey, it's not that this story isn't true. What else can contribute this story to being for real? Or do you understand what I'm saying? It's like this isn't just, don't take it for face value. Take it for face value and then kind of apply additional research to support its validity, to support that, you know what, even if it may sound a little foul, a little false, or a little like this is
blasphemy,
just too
sacrilege,
whatever. But maybe it is true just from a different perspective. So let's gather more information so that we can just start hashing out some ideas and probing more. And if you could do it with something that you were raised with from birth, in sitting in the sanctuary, no matter, or mosque or whatever, from birth now to pre-adulthood, now it's time for you to start applying what you've been told to now interpretation for yourself, so that you can gain a comfort in this information, so you can find its truth for yourself. Do you know what I'm saying?
No, I know exactly what you're saying.
And that's why that was important.
And I've done,
it's kids.
It's fun to see my students the light bulb go off. It's fun to see that, and when they finally get, I get it. The on a side note,
eat my ass off over here.
No, you're fine. This on a side note, my hang up is when they're like, well, my parents said this. I'm like, oh crap.
Get that out of here.
Not arguing with your parents. I'm not trying to do that at all.
Your parents is right.
Yeah.
Go talk to them.
All I can tell you
is Southern parents.
Yeah. All I can tell you is what's factual. and then maybe the question, and maybe help you to question some other things. I don't know. So
what's our time, brother?
Oh man, I think we got plenty. I take that back. We got 10.
I knew it. It's that internal.
But my point being, with all that questioning, is, I've been telling this to my students the past few days. Bear in mind, I teach special education, and I'm not, there's probably at least one of you out there listening who understands what I mean by special education and what that entails.
I do.
So I'm telling my high school students, especially with the project that I'm making them do, because I'm making them create their own stuff. Like they have to use their own thinking, they have to use their own imagination, they have to and be able to apply what they already know to their imagination and make it fun, you know. And so they're like it's driving them nuts, and quite frankly, funny a little bit, but because I tell them, guys, I'm not that kind of teacher that's going to feed you the information and expect you to spit it back out at me. You know, that's called memorization regurgitation. I don't do that. I tried, on a side note, I tried that and I hated it. But so I'm gonna force you to think. I'm gonna push you beyond what you think you can do.
Sorry, I got a phone
call. I'm going to go out on a limb here, and this I'm talking to my class. I'm going to go out here on a limb and say that you've had elementary teachers, middle school teachers, junior high teachers, and dare I say even some high school teachers who just feed you the information and expect you to feed it back to them. Am I right about that? And they're all like,
yeah.
I'm like, I'm not that kind of teacher. What I'm really wanting to get these guys to do is be able to think for themselves. That's the bottom line, is to get them to think for themselves, and be able to, rely on themselves instead of, when I hear stories of 20-somethings, gosh, not even 20-somethings. Let's go high school students. High school students sitting in the desk. The bell rings. The student still sits there. The teacher says, "You can go now. It's okay." The bell's rung. The student gets up and leaves. He was waiting for that prompt.
Oh.
That's the kind of stuff that I'm wanting to break, man.
Wow.
Like, you got to be, I realize that you have a disability. I realize that there's a deficiency in there. And I get that you have some weaknesses in some areas, but man, you have a whole hell of a lot more strengths than what you do weaknesses. And
exactly.
I'm going to be damned if I don't prove that to you.
Exactly.
So that's where I'm coming from. Now, am I harsh about it? No, I'm not that harsh about it. I don't let my kids fail. Do I let them see that they can fail? Yes.
That's beautiful.
That's a different thing. To let them see that they will fail and they can fail.
And allow them.
Yeah, exactly. Allow them to make those mistakes. But then I'm gonna come back like, all right, man.
Behavior.
Yeah, here's. Can you see where you maybe made a mistake? Oh yeah. And or can you see where maybe the thinking was a little off on this one? Yeah, okay, yeah, I get it. But it takes a minute to get there. Don't get me wrong, but we eventually get there. So all that to say, with all my questioning and going back to the Adam and Eve thing and evolution, that's where it stems from. Is I'm wanting to help my students realize that they are more capable than what they've ever thought that they could, because unfortunately they were probably more than likely brought up in an academic or an education setting or an education arena where they were taught that they couldn't because of a presumption of ignorance, and I just don't play that game.
No.
I start you out at here, and if I see you can't do here, then I'm going to slowly go back and see, all right, how far back do we need to go? I don't start at the bottom.
No.
That's totally counterproductive. Especially when I got a student who's up here and you're down here, that student is you've already lost them.
Yeah.
So.
I love it. But thinking anyone can do, basically.
Yeah. Anyway. So, but all that to say, circling back to our original point, when talking to other white folks, sometimes it's like that.
Yeah, you gotta stop.
I start up here now. Yeah, no. I let them talk to where I know where their level is at.
Yeah, right.
And then I approach them at their level.
You gotta just dumb it down a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit.
But you know what? My objective, with that being said, so you walk around town, you don't have no Black Lives Matter T-shirt on. It's not 90% of your conversation is about injustices and disparaging facts and stuff. It's just about trying to live, enjoy life. Oh, and when I see something dumb, hey, that was dumb. That's not humanitarian. That's not nice. That's not, kindness. I told you how much longer do we have left?
Oh, we got a few minutes. You're good. Keep going.
Okay. So talking about the incident that happened on my block earlier this week with police officers and a crisis center.
Yep.
And want to leave individuals out of it. Was not a family member, but feels like a family member. Tried to step in. An incident happened where the cops was called on the family member. That I felt like for the first time in my lifetime, the cops were taking seconds before they did anything.
Wow.
It's almost like they were thinking before they spoke. It was almost like they were acting as if they were there to actually serve us. And mind you, it was two white cops. Everybody else was black.
Yeah.
And the cops chilled.
Wow.
There was no rush to action. There was no rush to judgment. It was just like, all right, let's think. Gave the cop my phone number when the cop felt as though the hospital wasn't doing their job. And he called me. At first, I was like, why would you let that happen? But I realized the cop don't have no control over the hospital letting an individual go.
Yeah.
When I called back to talk, I said the captain wasn't available, but they had a sergeant. I could hear the sergeant taking 5 seconds because I'm almost to the point where I'm slightly belligerent. Like, I'm just mad. And I'm being indignant by saying, I guess I have to talk slow. I was. Towards the end of the conversation, I had apologized for seeming. He said, and you know what he said to me? He said, I understand. You have a loved one. You have a loved one. You were concerned and you felt like, I wasn't listening, but I'm going to let you know. And I'm letting all the officers know. Wind up finding this individual almost 20 hours later with no coat, no shoes, almost like cold, like just.
Yeah. Wow.
And I was like, damn.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I think I'm trying to look. I know.
How long ago? When did that take place? How long ago?
Monday to Tuesday of this week. Today is Thursday.
Okay. I ask in comparison to what I read this morning, but I don't. Let's just say add another name to the long list of Black men and women who have been killed by the hands of police officers. So, but it's encouraging to hear. It's encouraging to hear your story, though. That's the thing, and the fact that you were a part of it. That's awesome.
Yeah, I bear witness. I was there.
Yeah,
and for the individual that got killed and was ruled a homicide, he got shot in the back 3 times. Look, Jared, it's almost like you're not quite there to the point of slight being desensitized.
Yeah.
Because it's like.
Yeah. No, fair enough. I can't even begin. But when the coroner determines that it was a homicide, yet the police chief is like, hey, we still need to investigate whether or not this was legally justified. Wait, what? It was homicide. How in the hell is that legally justified?
Homicide legally justified. Okay.
So I guess that works for your average citizen too. Not. How does that work?
People are tired.
Yeah, so that's my biggest hang up on this entire thing.
It needs to be reformed. And stop looking at minorities as animals. Let's do that.
Exactly.
Stop looking at them as animals. Close.
Exactly.
Okay. All right, my love.
Absolutely. It is that time. It's we're like we said last week, we're trying to do better about our time. So with that being said, guys, that's going to do it for us this week. I hope you enjoyed our conversation as much as we enjoyed having the conversation. If you like what you hear, join us on our Facebook page, TNT with MJ. Subscribe to us on YouTube. If you have any questions or not even concerns, but if you have questions and you want to join the conversation, you can email us at tntwmj@gmail.com. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter. Our podcasts are on Google, just pretty much anywhere where you can find podcasts. I'll just leave it at that, except for iHeartRadio.
We need it to be all include, like, is it all lowercase, right?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Just saying. Sometimes
you might have to look for like the new theory, but that's a rare occasion. Be that as it may, you can find TNT with MJ. So sorry about that. But yes, we are easy to find regardless. And you can find us wherever you can find your podcasts, except for maybe iHeartRadio. So that's my bad.
Gotta work for it.
Yeah, right. Gotta, just dead gum Apple.
No. I know, right? It's true. I know. I'm not a big fan of them.
So with that being said, guys, we hope you like what you hear. Join us again next week. Love you guys. With that being said, Monet, final word.
Just continue to love one another, seek knowledge, enlighten yourselves, be good, be kind, and that's it.
Amen.
Love you. Bye.